Okay, students, we're going to go over your practice quiz here. Your actual quiz will look just like it, just different numbers. So you'll have every problem explained, no excuse for not knowing how to do it. Again, this is all review from middle school. That's why it's called Mod 0. Mod 1 is the first one we'll get into with Algebra 1. And then it also contains some review. But this is all from middle school. All right, multiplying fractions. Okay, first thing we're going to do is cross cancel. Actually, before that, we're going to go ahead and do our signs first. I have a negative times a negative times a negative. Whenever I have an odd number of negatives, the answer is negative. Now I can forget about the signs. I just took care of them. Okay. Now I cross cancel. 8 goes into 8 once. 8 goes into 48 6 times. 6 goes into 6 once. 6 goes into 36 6 times. And now I multiply across. I get 6 times 6 is 36 over 1 times 1 is 1. Anything divided by 1 is itself. So the final answer is negative 36. We'll go across here. Number 2. I first go ahead and get anytime there's two signs, get them down to 1. So negative times a negative is a positive, and negative times a negative is a positive. Now I've everything down to one sign. Now I'm going to go ahead and distribute. So I have negative 14x minus 84 plus 10x equals negative 15 plus 5x. Now I combine like terms. Combine like terms, when we say that, that means on the same side of the equal sign. So what terms can I combine there, and what terms can I combine there? Two separate on each side equal sign. Well, here I have an x and an x. Like terms, or in order to be like terms, it has to be the same variable and the same exponent on the variable, which is 1 in this case. Whenever there's nothing written, it always means 1. So what's the smart way of reading this? I do the positive first. It'll be 10 minus 14x is negative 4x minus 84 equals, there is no combining like terms here, so I have 5x minus 15. Now, which side should I bring the x's to? We talked about this. Oh, why did I say 80? It should have been 84. I said 84 and wrote 8x. 84 there. Okay, now how do I determine what side to bring the x's to? I always bring the smaller to the greater side, so I end up with a positive. So that means the negative 4x is added across. Remember, that's negative 4x is an entire term. So in order to move a term across the equal sign, I do the opposite. The opposite of minus 4 is plus 4x. And of course, I line it up in like terms. Therefore, since the x's are going to the right, the constant must go to the left. The opposite of minus 15 is plus 15. That's gone. So now I'm left with 9x equals 15 minus 84, which is negative 69. Okay. And last step is to divide by 9 on both sides. So you get x equals negative 69 over 9. Now I have to ask, does it reduce? Yes, it does. There's 3 that goes into both those. So it's negative 23 over 3. If I left it as negative 69 over 9, I'd lose a point for not simplifying all the way. Okay. And again, you could write down reverse PEMDAS. Order of operation, reverse order of operations. Now you do that after distributive property and combining like terms, and then getting the variables to one side, constants to the other. Then I apply reverse PEMDAS. All right, number 2, least common multiple. When do you use that? That's for finding the common denominator. I always start with the highest. Does 10 go into 18? No, it doesn't. I double that, 36. Does 10 go into 36? No, I triple that, 54. 10 go into 54? No. Quadruple that, 72. 10 go into 72? No. Times 5, 90. Does 10 go into 90? Yes, it does. And there's my answer. That's the way I usually do it. Now you could go with your primes. Doing your primes, 10 breaks down to 2 times 5. And 18 breaks down to 2 times 3 times 3. And I have to contain each of those. Okay. A repeat, I don't do repeats, so 2 and 2, I only need one of them. But then I need 2 3s, and I need a 5. Okay, so anytime there's a repeat on both, you just do one of them. So notice I have 5 times 2 is 10, times 9 is 90. So that's using prime factorization to find it. Okay, next, number 3. I'm going to simplify any fraction I can, so I have 1.5 here. So I deal with smaller numbers minus 1 1/4, or minus a fourth. I told you it's smarter to write it vertically, so I have 1.5 minus 1/4. Get my common denominator of 4. So that was times 2. So this is times 2. So 2/4, this one doesn't change, 1/4. So I have 1 minus 0 is 1, and 2/4 minus 1/4 is 1/4. Remember, the denominator stays the same once you have your common denominator, and you subtract, or if it's addition, you add the numerators. That does not simplify, so I'm done right there at 1 1/4. Okay. Some people like to change the mixed number into an improper fraction. If you want to do it that way, that 1.5 would be 3/2 minus 1/4. Again, I get my common denominator of 4. This one doesn't change, that's times 2, that's 6. And so I have 6 minus 1 is 5/4. And 5/4 is the same thing as 1 1/4. So either answer is correct. Okay, just whatever your preference is. Gotta show me that work. No work, no credit on any of these problems. Can't just plug numbers in. Wrong. You gotta show the steps. All right, number 7. I told you could distribute. Let's first multiply the two signs together to get down to 1. Okay, I could distribute, but I showed you the quicker way is to divide by 6 on both, -6 on both sides. So now I'm left with just x plus 8, because I can take off the parentheses because there's 1 out in front equals -5. And last step, subtract 8 across, and I get x equals -13. Okay. Number 4. We have PEMDAS, order of operations. So since these are all numbers, we're going down in PEMDAS. Reverse PEMDAS is for solving for x. So if you do any multiplication and division left to right, so I do that multiplication, I do that division, first, second, and lastly, I do the addition. Addition's at the bottom. Okay, so those are my order, and I'm going to do those in right there. And now your PEMDAS. Okay, cross multiply. 2 goes in 8 4 times. 3 goes in 12 4 times. 4 divided by 4 is 1. Okay, so I have 1 plus. Remember, I shouldn't have made this one. Should have given me just one. Division, you got to change the multiplication by the reciprocal, but 12 divided by 12 is 1. So I have 4 over 2 is 2 times 1 is 2. 1 plus 2 is 3. You won't have it that easy on the quiz. You'll have to change the multiplication by the reciprocal, then do your cross canceling, and then add your fractions together. Okay, number 5. Multiply by the reciprocal, -9/7 on both sides. So those all cancel out to 1x. 7 cancel the -63, -9 times -9 times -9 is positive 81. And lastly, again, we're at reverse PEMDAS. I already had it written up on the top of the screen. You don't have to write it more than once. It should be down there one time now. I add or subtract first. The opposite Negative is addition. The opposite of multiplication is division. So of course I'm going to add the 6 across first. So, and I can reduce that negative 15/6 down to negative 5 halves, divide each by 3, equals negative 10. Now I'm going to multiply by the reciprocal. Negative 2/5, negative 2/5. Those all cancel out to 1x, and 5 goes to negative 10, negative 2 times. Negative 2 times negative 2 is positive 4. Okay, that answers all these questions. Okay, you can rewatch any of these that you still need practice on. Make up your own. You can go on YouTube and watch them for more practice. The IXL for more practice that you have the link to in your email. Okay, any final questions, you can come to EL on a Wednesday morning, or Tuesdays can do you, or ask right before the quiz when you get in class if you have like one question.